Hello and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be taking a very first look at Forza Motorsport's brand new update 3.0 to see, well, if it's any good basically, or at least if it's better than the previous update, which didn't really fix any of the things that they said had been fixed. As ever, there's a long list of patch notes and fixes, so let's take a quick look over them and talk about the important bits. Starting with probably the most important part of a game that is quite so broken, the list of fixes. So is anything on the fixes list actually fixed this time around? There is an incredibly long list of fixes, some of them quite kind of general, for example, improved overall game stability, which is kind of impossible to really quantify or test. Although this time at least they didn't say there's lots of hidden fixes and things in there, which is kind of obvious, just them trying to pretend they've done more than they have, I think. Anyway, so I of course haven't been able to check everything on here, however, most of the things that I have tried, and most of the bits I've played about with since the game has been updated, do seem to now work pretty well. Surprisingly, replays do now work, but are still, I believe, limited to 8 minutes, making it not very helpful for our racing series, for example. And some of the sort of more small fixes, like the fixes to car models and things, and problems with those, such as the Bugatti Veyron painting the doors instead of the accent colour, like it did before, that is now fixed, which is kind of a shame, because that was kind of an amusing bug, painting your doors bright pink. But anyway, some of the other fixes on cars are harder to test. For example, the interior not showing when a particular M5 has a body kit applied is almost impossible to test, because to unlock that body kit would take about a week of car leveling due to the ridiculous upgrade system this game has. Still no word on that being removed or adjusted again, which I really hope it is at some point. And also, the Porsche Cayman that they supposedly fixed in the previous update, Update 2, is still broken, which either means they were being dishonest when they said that that had been fixed, or they were incompetent and hadn't been able to fix it. And there's still no mention of the liveries not importing from Horizon 5, which is an issue that really annoys me and quite a lot of people going by the feedback hub, which they're still not acknowledging is even a problem. At least this time though, as far as I can tell, most of the things on the fixes list have actually been fixed, and they're not saying they've done 200 fixes in the background, which we may not be able to notice and things like that. So it seems like it's moving in the right direction, but still not really good enough for what has been voted as Racing Game of the Year. Anyway, that's all of the fixes and things out of the way. What about the actual new content which has come in this update? Starting with this month's new track, which is the Hockenheim Ring, which isn't new. It was in Motorsport 7. It's apparently been overhauled, although personally I can't really see any changes to it. There are the same 3 layouts previously: the 2.8 mile full circuit, the 2.3 mile national circuit, and the 1.6 mile short circuit. It is kind of a shame not to also have included the historic layout, especially given that Laguna Seca has that historic outer loop layout in this game now, so it would have been kind of nice to see that. Or the drag strip, although this game has no drag racing for some reason, so that wouldn't really have made sense as its own route. But yeah, kind of a shame not to have added something new, given they're reintroducing it as an overhauled track. I'm of course not really surprised that they didn't add those 2 layouts, but it is still kind of a shame, nevertheless. We also have the usual spotlight cars and featured tour events, which follow a different theme each week. So if we head over to featured, below Prestige Tour, which was in the last update, we now have Contemporary Tour. The first week sees the Italian Ingenuity Tour with the Pininfarina Battista, which has in fact been in the game since launched, so that is available at the moment. Then next week is the Hybrid Ferocity Tour, with the introduction of the 296 GTB from Ferrari, which of course comes across from Horizon 5. Then in the third week we see the Tip of the Spear event in the McLaren Sabre, which is based on the Vision Gran Turismo car, so effectively comes across from Gran Turismo. That is, though, brand new to the Forza series. And then in the fourth and final week, we have the Valkyrie Challenge, which, as the name suggests, is racing in Aston Martin Valkyries. That car also coming across to Horizon 5 later as the second Secret Santa prize vehicle this year. And as ever, with these featured tours, if you complete all 4 of them, you'll then be able to win the Pagani Huayra R, which is an interesting one because that was actually in a paid pack in Horizon 5 and is now free to own in this game. So yeah, if you want a Huayra R, make sure you do those. In addition to that, as ever, we have a new open tour, which you can participate in any car of whichever class, C, B, A, and S, although your rivals will be from British marques. So as you can see in C-Class, there's a Mini and Vauxhall as an example, and we've got Jag and Aston. Oh look, the DBS is in it, that is brilliant. We've got Astons in almost all of these. Anyway, if you complete all of those, you'll be able to win the McLaren 650S, which I think I've been calling a 12C up until now, which technically I suppose it's a facelifted version of, but that of course returns from previous titles. There are also 30 new race suits, if anybody cared about those. There is a purpley one, so I might change mine. As well as new campaign events, of course, there are new online events. For the Open series, over here on the Open tab, there are now going to be 2 classes each week, so as you can see, it's currently P class and A class, and then there'll be 2 options the following week, rather than just having one at a time. The others are kind of similar to usual, though. There's going to be 311 Spec Series, Touring Car and GT for a while, then, of course, those will change. So that's all of the online races. And, of course, there are some featured Rivals events as well. The Logitech McLaren G Challenge Stage 2 at Hakone, which is a thing where you can win some money if you're very fast, which I'm not, so I'm not going to do that. There's the Hockenheim Ring in something, and Spotlight Batista. For some reason, they've chosen the one Spotlight car that isn't new for this. And last but not least for new content, there are 5 new Car Pass cars coming over the next few weeks. The first one is the Ruman Racing Trans Am Corvette that you saw at the Hockenheim Ring at the beginning of the video, which has already been given to us. The second is the Buick Trans Am Regal, an older Trans Am car from 1985. The third, the Cadillac DPI VR, which would be cool, but we already have 2 of them in the base game, so it really shouldn't be in the paid Car Pass. The fourth is the Lamborghini Huracan Super Trofeo Evo, which again is a kind of a cool car, but it's already been in a paid pack in Horizon 5, so that kind of doubly shouldn't be in the paid Car Pass, but that's there. And the fifth and final car is the Porsche 956. If you're interested in any of the Car Pass cars or the new cars that are in the Spotlight thing, the ones that are actually new to the game, we're going to be racing some of those in a video very soon, because you can kind of access them in online before you can purchase them. So watch out for a video on those soon. But yeah, other than that, that is kind of all of the new content that we've got at the moment. That, though, is going to do it for today's video, taking a very first look at Update 3.0 here on Forza Motorsport. Most of the fixes that I was able to test for do appear to be fixed, so that is good to see, and that they aren't filling out the fixes with 200 invisible fixes here and there, which seems a little bit, well, of a lie, to be honest. But yeah, good to see that the things on there were actually fixed this time, or at least some of them. It's a shame that the Cayman from the previous update still isn't fixed, and that there's no mention of the livery problem with them not importing from Horizon 5, that not being even acknowledged at all. The new track is good to see return, but it's not really a new track, if we're being honest. It doesn't appear to have been changed at all since when it was previously in Motorsport 7. There's a selection of new cars, which is good to see, although the ones in Car Pass, particularly the one we've already paid for in Horizon, shouldn't be in the paid Car Pass, and the one that's very similar to something we already have for free, again, shouldn't really be in there. But the ones that are going to be added as part of the Spotlight Tour thing and as prize vehicles are all good to see in the game, and those are of course free additions. So yeah, kind of a bit of a mixed one, but it is going in the right direction. I just still don't quite think it's deserving of Racing Game of the Year. But anyway, do let me know what you think of Update 3.0 and of this game as a whole and the sort of state that it's in at the moment. But for today's video, that is going to be all, so thank you very much for watching, and I will be back with the next one very soon.